I think I've done it. Oh, I bit my tongue. And that's when you die of hypothermia. Remove that child safety thing ahead of time. It's cold when it gets to the giblets. Yeah. The weather has been warm, but the creek is still quite cold, I assure you. Yeah, I dropped the ball on this one, guys. I should have done this earlier in the year when it was still cold outside, and it would have been a better simulation. Falling into the cold water in a hypothermia situation where I've got to get a fire going and I'm all soaking wet. Let's say I don't have dry clothes to change into. What do? So I've been in the water for maybe, I'd say 2 minutes, maybe a little longer, and I've already got a little shivering going on. The teeth are already starting to chatter. I'm definitely going to let myself get into the first stages of hypothermia. Okay, yeah, a lighter doesn't work at first when it gets wet, but it's not that hard to dry them out. And so if this was a wintertime situation where we've got sub-zero temperatures perhaps, and you've fallen in the icy stream like that, that's a big deal. And that's something you need to be prepared for. I've been in the water now for probably, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes, give or take. And it's hard to stop the shivering now. So it's, I can control it still. Like, right, hold on a second, ready? So like, if I really try, I could stop the shivering. So I'm gonna stay in here a little longer. I'm gonna stay in here for a little longer, maybe 20-30 minutes until I can't control the shivering anymore. And then you'll see, like, for example, this is as fast as I can open and close my hand, and that's a good test of dexterity. Can I do all this stuff? Try that right now while you're watching the video, and hit the thumbs up if you like these kind of survival scenario videos. Please do that if you don't mind. But try that at home. See how fast you can open and close your hand, and then compare it to mine. That's as fast as I could do it, and I've really got to focus on it to make sure I can. I've really got to focus on it to get it to go. Whoa. So cold. Thankfully, it's a warm day, so I could easily get out right now and just run around and do squats and stuff and exercise in the sunshine. But for this test, I'm gonna try not to do that. I'm gonna stay in the shade. Like when I got out, I would want to shed layers as fast as I could and wring my clothes out and get out in the sunshine and warm my body up that way and get the wet layers off your body, because you're gonna be, especially if there's a breeze, it's gonna be so cold, so much colder if you're wet. So even if you're naked, it'd be better dry than soaking wet. Wool layers, that's something about wool. Wool still insulates even when it's wet. So if you're wearing wool, that would be maybe not as, it'd be a good idea to take it off, wring it out, get most of the moisture out of it. But if you've got wool base layers on, probably keep those on even if you're wet. What was I talking about? I'm gonna fake an injury. I'm gonna injure my dominant arm, whatever, so I can't use that. I'm just gonna have my one semi-working right hand. The dangerous thing about hypothermia is that eventually it's not uncomfortable really anymore. So right now I'm pretty uncomfortable, like I'm cold. But if I stay in here long enough, I'll get to the point where I'm not really that uncomfortable anymore. I just get lethargic and lazy. And that's what happens is you get to that point where you're so cold, your body temperature drops so far that you get lethargic and lazy, and you just want to sit down and curl up in a ball and fall asleep. And that's when you die of hypothermia. That's what happens. It's not a painful way to go. It's just a slow but boring way to go, I guess. Probably not that bad of a way to go, to be honest with you. Of all the ways to die in the wild, hypothermia is probably not that bad, all things considered. Yeah, that's getting good. It gets really difficult. So, like small ferro rods like this around my neck, a really smart idea because they'll spark right away. But when you lose dexterity from hypothermia, small little implements like such as that become more difficult to use. Not impossible. I could do it, but it just it's just more difficult. Big chunky things like the ferro rod that I've got in my pocket right here, this big one. That's going to be easier to manipulate and throw bigger, hotter sparks. So I recommend that for the most part. This is definitely a solid backup, because if I'm wearing it around my neck, I've always got it. I think I've been, I bit my tongue. I've been in here about 20 minutes, I'd say, give or take. I don't know for sure, but I'd say about 20 minutes, fully submerged in the cold water, and it's really hard to stop the shivering now. Let me see if I can try to stop it. Hold on. Maybe a little. I could slow it down. Can't quite. I can't quite stop shivering yet for now. So it's pretty hard. My dexterity's decreased a lot, and I'm really cold. So I think now I could start the simulation, trying to get the fire going. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop out of the water, and because it's warm outside, I'm gonna, if I start to warm up, just to keep the simulation going, I'll just jump back in the water for a second and get my body cooled back off again. Allow me to use my left hand for the camera, of course. A regular Bic lighter. And obviously it doesn't work. So first thing I'm looking for is tinder and or kindling. First thing I can come across that might work. I'm gonna stay down here. I mean, like I said before, you want to get out into a sunny, dry spot where you can warm up and be doing jumping jacks if my arm's injured. Jumping jacks, whatever, as much as possible. Doing some squats, body weight exercises, push-ups, whatever it is to generate your warmth just internally. That's a good idea. You shed the layers, get this wet clothes off of me. Really smart, but for this demonstration, I'm starting to warm up. I gotta get back in. It's too warm outside. Oh. So it's too warm of a day. I apologize. I should have done this earlier in the year when it was really cold outside, but I'll keep myself as cold as possible. So, but hands still don't work very good, and that makes it very difficult to do this. What I recommend is that you use something like this, Exotech fire sleeve. Oh, that sucks. Alright, I'm back in. These, as far as kindling goes, the dead vines, this stuff here, these real small, thin, dead vines, really good flower stalks are excellent because they're kind of pithy and hollowish in the inside, and they'll catch fire really quick. And like I said, if you've got an open flame like a lighter, you don't have to bother with tinder. So all this is really good stuff. This is honeysuckle vines. Excellent kindling right there. Can't be too picky. I forgot that I'm cold and my brain's not working good, so I forgot that my hand was injured. I think I might have been using that to collect some kindling. Sorry about that. I'm trying to do this right. Bark on that tree's too far gone. One hand, processing tinder with one hand is a challenge for sure. If you're using man-made tinders, like that's great. Make sure it's good waterproof stuff. So getting tinder like this, little bits here and there. And then trying to dry it, process it out is tough. Tough with one hand, tough to find it, but really tough to get it to process it. Starting to warm up again. Oh, jeez, that's awful. I think it'll be dry enough. I would just be trying to rough that stuff up as much as I can, you know, on something as dry as possible with my hand. Process the fibers down, get them as small as I could get them, and increasing the surface area is going to allow them to dry out a little bit faster too. Spread it thin, put it up into a tree branch, let the wind and air and stuff dry it out as much as I can. But luckily, you know, you got grass like this, I could probably get this to light up pretty quick, even though some of that's wet. That'll dry out too. Let's see if our lighter's working yet. So you can get that to work, and you can put your tinder right here and get it to work. I don't love that method because there's a little bit of room for error there, and a lack of judgment, and fumbliness of hypothermia and stuff could cause you to hurt yourself potentially. So I'd prefer to do something else. You could take your knife and you could drive it into a log like so, and use it to anchor it into place into my log, and I could strike sparks with it that way. Ooh. There we go. Grass caught on fire. Slowly add my kindling to it. And if you have the means, once you get your fire successfully going, to make some sort of hot brew, tea, coffee, whatever it is, get that in your body quick. Warm yourself from the inside out. Speed it up by removing some of the safety features and nonsense off these lighters with just one hand. It's going to be easier said than done. Get the tip of my knife. Trying to get the tip of my knife right there. I'll show you with two hands real quick, but I'm trying to get this in here and pry that out. So I just got the one hand. There we go. So we got it out of there. Hard when you're shivering too. It's not helpful. There we go. So I got it out. And that will help speed up the drying process, because all that's kind of wet right there. Hey, look at that. We had light. I had ignition. There we go. Look at that. I could ignite my tinder pretty easily with an open flame, obviously. But like I was saying before, we could just skip the tinder phase and just go straight to kindling if you have open flame. Maybe, there we go. Maybe get myself a little bit more of a platform like that. Now obviously you'd want to have the driest, smallest kindling possible, but you know, in this situation, if you're just trying to get a flame, I mean, go for the best stuff you can, but don't be too picky. Get what you can get and get your fire going as quickly as you can. Use your lighter, dry it out. If you've got some sort of tinder, if you've got flammable things like rubber and pieces of your shoes or whatever that will burn and extend your flame for a little bit longer, do that. So I'd say we could get this lighter working in like 5 minutes, I'd say, after being submerged for 20. That's why it's super important to remove that child safety thing ahead of time. It makes the lighter, one, easier to use with numb, fumbly hands. Two, it just allows it to dry out so much faster. So even with subpar kindling and tinder and stuff, we were able to get a fire going with a ferro rod, improvising a way to anchor our striker and in a wet lighter that had been submerged for 20 plus minutes. The back of my belt here, see if I can do it with my one hand. Yep, I can do it. Got it. I've got a fire plug that has been wet, soaking wet for 20 plus minutes. I'm gonna bust it open with one hand. There we go. And we just exposed some of those fuzzy fibers. Oh, almost. But if I could expose some more of this surface area, like that. Just take my shoe off. See if I get a little bit more dexterity. There we go. There we go. Taking the shoe off was the ticket. That's all we needed to do. So having something like this around your neck, even soaking wet in the rain, whatever, even with an injured hand, you can get your fire going. Don't just assume that you're going to be able to find dry tinder in all situations. Get the stuff while it's there. Put it in dry bags if it's natural tinder. Carry ready to go tinder like this one. Even if you're carrying just Vaseline and cotton balls in a Ziploc bag, that stuff is great. It costs almost nothing, just pennies basically, and you can have yourself a life insurance policy in a wild place. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you like these kind of videos, I'd really appreciate a comment. Any kind of comment will do. Tell me what kind of dog you have. I don't care. As long as you leave some sort of comment, it really, really helps. Can't wait to see you on the next video. See ya.